Hey, what's up, everybody? I thought I'd go ahead and make my response video that I had to all of you, you know, to get the answers from me and things you may want to ask me that, you know, might be able to actually tell you guys that today. Hope all of you had a good Thanksgiving. I hope everybody got a chance to share some time with family. I got to see my 19-year-old daughter, which was, I don't get to see her very much. Started college and working, and let's not even talk about the depression of not being able to have your little baby at home anymore. But anyway, so yeah, let's get this started. And I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor. This is going to be a long video, I'm sure. But if you could, even if I answer your questions quick, stay tuned in and maybe try to hear some of the other questions that other people had and the answers I give, just out of respect for the other people that ask questions. I don't know, just I think it'd be nice, and a lot of you know that there isn't very many subscribers, and there definitely wasn't that many comments asking me questions. So, try to hang in there if you can, just to, it's a community of somewhat. So, let's try to keep it as one. I never ask you guys to subscribe. I don't ask y'all to like videos. I don't ask y'all to do anything, just to comment. So let's try to pay a little bit of tribute this time to comments and answers. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna be looking down because I couldn't remember everything. I had to jot it down. And David Lee, let me first off saying that you're one of my favorite subscribers, commenters, people that I've met on here, and I have a lot of respect for you and what you have to say. I just thought I'd let you know that now. Sports, I like UFC, boxing. Those are mainly my two big sports, especially UFC. And I used to watch football a long time ago. I'm from Dallas, so of course I think anyone can tell you that Dallas football is Texas football is a big deal. But after I don't know, after we lost Jimmy Johnson, after Doug Flutie. I don't know if you remember that guy, but Doug Flutie was a little Buffalo Bills quarterback that was like 5'7". Then he's like some arena football league player, and he came over and he just like destroyed everybody when they said it couldn't be done. That was probably the last fascinating thing that I found about football, that I was like really into what that little guy was doing. But after that, though, I don't know. Football lost me, man. There's just so much. It was kind of like what happened to baseball, like when all the steroids and home run records were being broken like left and right. Mark McGuire, just I don't know. That was like all those steroid years, the Lance Armstrong stuff. I don't know. I just got kind of turned off. I mean, but yeah, definitely UFC and stuff. Music. There's another viewer that wanted to know about music. I'm gonna try to keep this as short as I can. I'm just chomping through the minutes here. Um, my biggest band that I probably listen to it the most right now, which is, and I say right now for the last year or so, probably System of a Down. One of my favorite bands of all time is a group called the Mars Volta. It's a little out there, but they're a musicians band. It's not like a poppy band. It's not like uh, catchy lyrics and stuff. It's a band for musicians. So if you feel like you understand timing and instruments and ensembles and these 30-minute long uh, performances, especially like live performance. If you see live performances of these guys on YouTube, it's quite exciting. Red Hot Chili Peppers, At the Drive-In, old Metallica, Jamiroquai. He's kind of like modern day disco. And speaking of disco, I like the Bee Gees, Donna Summer, like 60s R&B, Al Green, Teddy Pendergrass, Bill Withers, Brothers Johnson, and I do like 70s funk, and Parliament and George Clinton. Uh, I like a lot of stuff. It's And don't get me wrong, there's doo-wop music that I like and stuff like that. But for the most part, when I'm usually jamming, if you catch me jamming somewhere, it's probably System of a Down. And don't get me wrong, Rage Against the Machine is probably my favorite band of all time that I've liked for the most amount of time since I was a young man. And the self-titled Rage Against the Machine album came out. That was a big deal for me. But yeah, you asked about like the Emmy and what it's done to me. Um, to make it short, it's basically left me feeling like nothing is set in stone. That all ideas or all things are subject to change, and I don't know. That's it's off-putting, you know. So I don't know. That's about the best I can give you. Uh, Ask me about paranormal and deja vu experiences. Not so much paranormal. There have been times where I thought I heard something and it sounded like a little too repetitive, But I don't know. I get freaked out by like paranormal stuff, so I kind of like just have to like throw it out of my head. But definitely deja vu. I definitely felt deja vu quite a few times in my day. I would say probably 50 times a year. I feel some sort of deja vu where I feel like I've done this before. So yeah, thanks, David. I really appreciate you. Okay. Uh, Char K, you wanted to know about my I guess my my family. I do have three children. I have one that's 2, I have one that's 9, and I have one that's 19. Um, I do have two younger brothers. The one is 4 years younger, one is 6 years younger. Um, I'm pretty close to one of them, and the other one, he's off doing his own thing, but I do have brothers. Uh, Girlfriend, I've always tried to be honest with you guys, and I do have a girlfriend. However, my 2 year old is her son, my son, and I know that my son needs a father, and I'm going to take, or I have been taking, whatever I need to take and stomach to make sure that my son knows his father. And if there was no child, which this, we've had so many ups and we've had so little ups and so many downs that, people tend to feel trapped. And I kind of do. I feel trapped. But if any of you are my age, um, or I guess age don't have anything to do with it. You know that a lot of times there are women with baggage. Basically, my mother was one of those women that just had all these kids and no husband. You date this woman, you got all this crap. I kind of feel the same way. I'm a man with baggage, and my eldest daughter, the one I mentioned earlier, I've raised her since she was 5. Had total custody of her, and with my son, I don't have any sons, and I'm really afraid that he's going to turn into some wimpy, little dilapidated person. So I don't know. There's not a sacrifice I'm not willing to make for my son. So that takes into account his mother also. And I wish I had a better life. And don't get me wrong, there's people that have better, and I'm sure I could get better, but that would also mean I wouldn't be around my son. So, yeah, there's that. Probably not the answer you wanted, but there you have it. James Kersey. Boy, 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 buddy, if I could talk to you face to face, the things I would say. Um, you always have some. I'm surprised you're still around. That's all I can say. You and I have had our ups and downs, but I do appreciate you. I really do. And you asked me about the Bible and what I think about, like the story of Jesus being so repetitive. I've actually done quite a bit of research on the Savior theory, and you know, like it happened to me too. I was a very much a religious person, and as a younger man, or actually a young boy, and maybe like an older boy, in my early teens. But once I was able to do research and find out there were other saviors other than Jesus that are older than Jesus that have so many things in common with Jesus, and yet the story is older than that story. It just brought me to the conclusion, at least for me, that human beings need a, maybe tribal chant isn't the best word, but we all need a day of reckoning for our oppressors. We always need some hope of a life jacket in drowning water. We always need the trumpet of victory. We always need some hope. And I feel like these stories have been told to give us hope. So we don't get, I mean, think about it. You can be in prison, which I know about. You can be literally drowning. Or you could be, someone kidnapped my 19-year-old daughter when she was younger. And the first thing that always crosses your mind is like, dear God, what the fuck am I gonna do? Please help me. Like, please, you're talking to something. And I think that's something that human beings need. I mean, that's why the Lord is so alive in prison or in poverty or, during hunger and disease and death. That's why God is so prevalent, is because we need hope. I'm not saying we don't, I'm not saying that, screw Jesus Christ and the Bible. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's why that's what I think its purpose is. Is it telling the truth? If it is telling the truth, then we're basically all worshiping the same God, because there's too many people all around the world, too many histories that have the same story to tell, at least for the most part. So, I don't know. I could go on, but I'm not going to. So hopefully that answered your question how I see it. Stella, I love you to death, girl. I really do. Can I be literal with you guys? And Stella, please don't not like me after this. This makes me seem very stupid and shallow. And I got that tattoo when I was 18 years old, and I was very much a stupid, shallow person. You know how a scorpion stings you from the back? I was a huge fan of women and their rear ends. So I kind of made a comparison to stinging from the back. I know that's so horrible and perverted. Y'all, please don't be mad at me, but that's the reason why I literally got it. It's perverted and it's shallow, and I mean, it looks cool if you really don't know the reasoning behind it, but stinging from the back. Sorry, guys. That's a long time ago. Yes, I am going to get a motorcycle. I used to ride a little bit when I was a kid, and I'm at that age to where, I don't know, it's time to buy a Harley. Well, what can I say? But yeah, I'm going to, I'm not rich or anything, so I'm going to have to find something I think that's really awesome, full of muscle, and something I'm really going to enjoy liking, or enjoy riding that I'm really going to like. It's a 2003 V-Rod, Harley Davidson V-Rod. If you've never seen it, and there's anybody watching it, you should check it out. It's a really, really, really cool bike, full of a whole lot of muscle. And so yeah, that's what I'm probably gonna start a different channel when that happens too. I'm still gonna have this, but I'm thinking about doing kind of like a little motorcycle vlog thing too. Because to be honest with you, I get pretty verbal when I'm driving, so and I think it's gonna be pretty funny to hear me bitch as much as I'm probably going to on a motorcycle on highways and in Houston or Dallas traffic. It's gonna be pretty funny. So, but yeah, thank you, Stella. I love you to death. Lizette, you wanted to know. You asked me one of the most. You've asked me the question. Why is the ME the ME? Why does it happen? Why is it? That's the question. I wish I had the answer. You know, um, I'm a little more down to earth when it comes to things that I guess hope for. I don't really think that we have changed realities. I don't really think that we have all died. However, I do believe we have been bombarded with radio signals, technology, and I know people said that there's been Mandela effects for 50 years, or maybe, but can it be tracked down to radio signal? I mean, I've brought this up before, and how we all had to change our televisions from a radio frequency to digital frequency, and I thought that that might have a connection, was the radio frequency, and how they could still be using it even though we don't really know anything about it. I could have, if I'm not mistaken, they sold it to like cell phone companies, the radio signal that we used to use for our television. But I really don't know. I wish I had the answer for you, and if I did, believe me, I'd have a more popular YouTube channel. But that's definitely not the case. So, but yeah, that's the best I got for you. Uh, Vestal, what makes me happy? Um, well, Vestal, um, I think communication makes me happy. I've always liked to talk. I've always been told, um, you sound like you belong on radio. You, I don't know, when I was in high school, the school got me to be a mediator to talk to children that had problems. Even though I was a kid always getting into crap all the time, they still used me because a lot of the kids listened to me when I was in high school. They, not that I was a bully or anything, they just listened. I had stuff to say, and I wasn't afraid to say it. I would call teachers out on acting like children. I would tell kids that, hey, that's pretty fucked up. I would I would bully bullies. Um, I would stick up for people quite a bit. So I don't know. I just feel like that's probably where it all started. Is where I started really finding my voice for who I was, and realizing that it doesn't matter what the hell I say. If you don't want to listen, then don't. But what you're not going to do is make me shut up. That's what's not going to happen. I don't care who you are, where you from, what you say, what you do to my... You're going to have to beat the life out of me to get me to not say what I want to say. And if you don't want to hear it, like I said, just don't listen. Like, that's it. So, I don't know. Communication makes me happy. I've always tried to communicate with my children, communicate with whomever I'm with, communicate with people. I've always tried to be... I can communicate with anyone. If you saw my last video about race and stuff like that, um, I talked about, being, around a bunch of blacks and being around a bunch of whites, being around just about everyone. And I can communicate with every one of them. I always have a means of common ground to create some type of rapport with all different types of people. So, I don't know. I guess that kind of one feeds the other. I like to communicate, and I hope that some people like to communicate with me. Um, and Vestal also wanted to know if I used moisturizer. No. Actually, quite the opposite. I I worked outdoors in the Texas sun, 100-degree days, heat waves, just horrible weather, and I did it for over 15 years. So I really don't know how my face isn't completely beaten up. I know it looks pretty bad a lot of the times, but for the most part, yeah, I've beaten my face up pretty bad by the elements. So yeah, I don't know. I can't even imagine. I've talked about this before. I can't even imagine how much better things would have been if I didn't just beat my face to death out in the sun. I could have looked young for the rest of my life. So, but yeah, no, I don't use moisturizer. Thanks for asking, though. Patrick Colantoni, or Tawny, Colantoni. I don't know exactly how it's said, but I love you too, brother. Just so you know that you and I have so many things in common that it's mind blowing how many things we have in common, and you're one of my favorite people, on YouTube for sure. I really love hearing from you. I really liked talk with you, man. I mean, and you just heard me talk about a motorcycle, hopefully, and if you did, yeah, man. When I get that motorcycle, I want to ride up to where you're at, and I don't know, grab some coffee or something, and talk. You know, I feel like I'd be doing ourselves an injustice if we didn't. You know, we just have so many things in common. What made me put myself on YouTube? Um, you know, I had heard someone make a comment about YouTubers that hide behind anonymity, and they make those screencast videos. You never see who they are, you know. And I just really felt like, as scary as the Emmy was, or the Mandela effect was when I first found it, I just really felt like, you know, people need to know how scary it is, how it makes me feel, that they're not alone. Some of the things they feel, and that's why a lot of my channel is about how we feel and who we are. You know, I wanted to let people know that you're not alone, even though you may feel alone. Um, and I don't know, you know, it. Even if you get one person that says, "Man, you made things, you know, a lot easier for me, or a little bit easier," you know, it makes you feel great. And I've had at least, I don't know, a good handful of them that say thank you so much for being there when there wasn't anything else, and that makes me feel, you know, superior, not to people, but in a more general sense. Yeah, so I guess that's about it. I also put on here, you know, relate to others, but I'm guessing you gathered that. But yeah, you know, I just didn't want people feeling alone. And to be honest with everyone, I didn't want to be alone either. I was afraid too. So uh, thanks, Patrick. You know, you're one of the best ones, man. Maybe because you're so much like me, it makes you a great one. Um, oh, and you also asked why I took a break from YouTube. Um, you may have already gotten this answer from another video if you went binge watching the other day. Which, thank you, by the way. Um, I just had so many things on my plate that I felt by sitting back and making YouTube videos, I felt like I was wasting time. But I don't know. Not doing YouTube videos also makes me feel alone. I I like having you guys to talk to, and it helps me at the same time. So at the same time, when I cut everybody off, I was also cutting myself off. You know, so I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have a lot on my plate, but how can you ever have time if you don't make time? Am I right? So here we are. But thanks again, though. Um, uh, Chris Fitzpatrick. Um, what got me to find the Emmy, and when did I find it? Um, I found the Emmy, I think, looking into. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it, like these mysterious booms that people just hear, like these loud thuds, you know, these loud booms, and they say it's sonic booms from airplanes and all that. No way. I just saw a video about this the other day, how people heard them in Florida area, the East Coast. I can't remember exactly. I just saw it like yesterday, and that's bullshit. I'm just letting you know now. There's no way. I was in Texas. I thought it was like gun nuts. Like I've known people that have little cannons, like literally like 1 foot tall, like little cannons. I thought maybe that's what it was until I literally looked it up. Like I'd had enough. I heard them like all the time, and I looked them up, and that's when I started hearing that, holy crap, you know, there's a shitload of people that hear these booms all the time. So that's what got me going down that rabbit hole. And sure enough, I found somebody talking about the Emmy. I can't remember what the title was, but I was just like, I clicked on it and I was like, holy shit, you know, it freaked me out big time. So um, when I started, you could, if you go to my videos, I'm pretty sure you can see the date for when my first like Mandela effect video was. That's about when it was. I can't really recall um, how long ago it's been, but I don't know, what, 10 months ago maybe. I don't know, something like that. I'm not really sure, you know, but hopefully that answers your question, I guess. Um, Z Watch. This is, I made a comment about asking me anything you want to, and I said something about nose diving pigeons. To be honest with you, I think it was a movie that I saw that was talking about pigeons diving off buildings, and they said that if a pigeon has parents, some of them dive low and some of them dive shallow, and they have to breed one shallow, one low diver have to, and two shallow ones can breed too. But if two deep divers pigeons breed, their offspring will crash straight into the concrete or straight into the ground. And I don't know why I never forgot that. I don't know where exactly I heard it, but I know I heard it and it always stuck in my head. I even tried to do some research on it after I said this, and I couldn't find anything. So I don't know. It may not be true. I don't know, but it always stuck in my head though. So yeah, Z Watch. There you go. That's your pigeon. That's your pigeon answer. Uh, April Callahan. You're another one of my favorites. I love you to death. Always got something to say. You're always being really sassy. I appreciate you. I really do. Um, 80s music. I'm not going to say that I'm a big fan of 80s music, but I'm a fan of songs from the 80s. I don't know if you heard a song called "Send Me an Angel." I like a little bit of Peter Gabriel's music. Cyndi Lauper. Um, like the song "Tainted Love." I like ZZ Top from the '80s. I like ZZ Top anytime, but I like '80s stuff. Like Total Eclipse of a Heart, Electric Avenue, Cult of Personality. So yeah, I like a lot of songs. I'm not gonna say that I really like anybody's really specific from the '80s though. Like even like Rat and like White Snake, and so I used to listen to all that stuff. Motley Crue. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna say that I really like some specific band. Yes, I do like cats. And how I was in school, I kind of already answered that a little bit, but I'll recap for you. I was kind of a loudmouth. I dated way too many girls. I would beat up bullies. If people try to shut me up, I would hurt them. When teachers were being assholes, I called them on it. Um, I was a troublemaker, but it's just because I never shut up. Um, so yeah, I always intervened when I saw like some little guy getting picked on. I'm kind of a small guy too, and I would take it to him. So if I could summarize school, it was a loudmouth, getting into fights, but they were justified fights. I wasn't fighting for bullshit. It was because some girl got hurt, some kid was being picked on, and I would beat the shit out of them. So, and it got me in a lot of trouble. So yeah, that was me in high school and junior high, and a little bitty bit of elementary. So I've been brawling for a long time. Uh, Dead GPK. The purpose I feel for myself afterwards, or after discovering Emmy, is I feel like I have more of a connection with those that I'm connected with, which is basically all of you. And at the same time, I feel like I've disconnected from people that aren't like this. So I mean, I feel like I have a higher purpose, but for a smaller group. Hopefully that I could go on, but hopefully that says it for you. So yeah, I do definitely feel like I have more purpose, but it's just for a certain particular group and not everyone. Um, don't get me wrong. I feel like I'd still help and be there for anyone, but as far as like real connection, though, it's that group has gotten smaller, but it's a stronger bond that helps. Um, and Autumn Rose, you asked me why the dogs were barking, or you knew why the dogs were there trying to stop me from talking about something or whatever. I don't even remember what that was. So if you want to leave a comment telling me what that, I don't remember what video it was where the dog started barking. But but yeah, if you want to tell me that, then go for it. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Hopefully everybody got what they wanted to hear. If you'd like for me to elaborate, you can comment on this video. You can ask me more questions if you'd like to here. Just so you guys know, if you've listened this long, hopefully this will this will help. But it's helping me. I found a new messaging route for comments, and I can see all of them now, like every single one of them, even if my notifications don't show it. When I open this certain little overlay that I have for YouTube, it shows like a third-party service. It shows every single comment left by everyone. So as far as commenting goes, I should be able to get right back on the ball. I should be able to comment and reply to everyone. So thanks for everybody. If you've sat through this whole half an hour worth of me babbling about everything, I really, really appreciate it. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I really enjoy all of you, especially some of my hardcore people that have been there for a really long time. I really appreciate it. That stupid dog is barking again. Hush your mouth. So thanks so much, and I will talk to you guys soon. Stay strong.